Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. I recently started teaching a program that basically teaches managers and leaders inside of organizations to ask better questions. It's essentially kind of taking all of the coaching training that I have and putting it to use inside of organizations. And this program is actually called Conversational Management. And it's basically a challenge to change our mindset on the way that we manage people. See, historically, we've managed people based on just managing the tasks. And a manager's role is to check the tasks and make sure the tasks are all getting done and basically tell everybody what to do. And this program and coaching in general kind of switches that to more of a conversation. And it says, what would happen if we invested in the employee? What if our role wasn't to manage the work, but to develop and empower the employees, and in turn, then the work gets done. And the work actually gets done to a better quality. More people have ownership, people are more engaged, and they actually see that, the employee sees that they grow and get something out of work rather than just checking boxes to more and more tasks. And see, I think it's a hard concept for leaders and for managers, because if we manage the task, if we manage the work, then we have to have all the right answers, and we have to know how to do everything. And so it's a really hard mindset shift. We don't need to know everything, and we don't need to know how everything works. We don't need to have all of the answers. In fact, all we need to do is become more curious and ask more questions. We don't need to have all the answers. We need to have more questions. And I think that our faith is no different than that. See, we all want the answers to life's biggest questions. And so we keep asking the same questions, expecting there to be one right answer. And as I have explored my faith and as I've lived out my faith, I've actually come more to the conclusion that our faith isn't meant to be something that we figure out and that we have this perfect right and wrong and this perfect black and white. It's actually intended to be more of an ongoing conversation with God, where we stay curious and we ask questions, and as life evolves and our life experiences grow, that our faith would go with us. Rob Bell one time did a kind of use of an analogy in one of his first books. He said that most of us have a faith that's kind of like a brick wall, where we have all these bricks that we have to defend so that you don't knock it down. Like, there are right answers to everything. And he says that faith is actually intended to be more like a trampoline. If you got this foundation, obviously the structure and the frame of the trampoline, but it's meant to flex and ebb and flow to go with us. And as we experience this thing, maybe we ask God some different questions. And if we stay curious, it keeps us engaged appropriately and uniquely. We may actually experience more meaning in our lives. We are still in our series regarding or using Hannah Brencher's book, Come Matter Here, as we're all exploring this idea of what does meaning look like in this life? Like, how do we have value here, and how do we matter here on earth? And she actually kind of challenges this question too, of her faith was always doing the right things and finding the right answers. And she said that she's actually experienced more meaning when she asked better questions and more questions. She said that, God would rather have us dig into the details than take his sound bites and run. And I love that. I think we live our faith from thing to thing, and we try to find that right answer. 1 + 1 = 2, got it, good, go. That's not the intent of our faith. It's actually supposed to be something that we wrestle with and explore. And Hannah admits in her book, nobody ever told me I was supposed to wrestle with my faith. She thought it was just kind of this prepackaged thing of, if you do this, then that. If you behave this way, it'll go well. And most of the time that just doesn't work well as we continue to live and look for meaning in our lives. And she actually talks about the character of Moses, and I've always kind of been fascinated with Moses. I tell a lot of stories about Moses, and it pointed me to this spot in the Bible when Moses is talking to God through the burning bush. It's in Exodus 3, verses really 10 through 14, where we find God, we stumble upon Moses in this Q&A session with God. And God doesn't give him the perfect answers. He more answers the way that I think our faith should expect God to answer. So there's two questions Moses asks. He says, the first one is, God is asking Moses to go lead the Israelites. And Moses basically says, who am I? Like, why would you choose me? Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God answers, I'll be with you. Like, don't worry about it. Go be you. Go live your life. I chose you for a reason, and I will be right here with you as I have up to this point. And then Moses said, but what if I go back to the Israelites and I try to communicate to them? What do I tell them? Like, Moses wants the script. And God just says, tell them I am who I am. Like, point back to me. My God has asked me to do this. I will continue to be with you as I have to this point. And although I think in our faith, we want to ask these questions and we want God to like lay it all out perfectly. But throughout the Bible, God continues to say, I'll be here with you. It's okay. I know this is hard. I know this is complicated. I know things aren't as you expected, but I am here. I will continue to be here. So this week in our faith, the challenge as we search for meaning, the challenge is to actually flip this on its head and stop looking for all the perfect right answers, and instead just engage in conversation with God and ask more questions. I know that can be frustrating, but this week, try it out. Write down all the questions you might have, all the questions you've always wanted to get answered, and put them in front of God. Enter into a long conversation with God regarding questions and curiosity, and then bring those questions and bring some of those answers you might get, I'm here, don't worry, I got this. Bring that into your life and continue to do this like trampoline flex with God. And I can almost guarantee you experience more meaning, and God will show up in new ways in your life. So this week, go ask new questions. Thanks for watching Faith in 5. If you like what you see, please like and share. If you're interested in making a donation to our ministry, please click the link below.